Hey, so what is up, guys? Today we are here with Derek Knorr. He is a wrestler from Pennsylvania, and he's had some rather interesting experiences throughout his high school career. And today he'll be telling about them and going through a little bit more things that have happened during his high school career, how he started, and what he plans to do in the future. So if you haven't checked out my last two podcasts already, they should be in the description below. So be sure to check them out. And now we'll get started. So welcome, Derek.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Okay, so I guess we'll just start it off. Say, how'd you get into wrestling, and how old were you?
I was probably right around 5 or 6 years old when, football really wasn't my thing. I was playing baseball as just a little kid, and my parents ended up getting divorced when I was young, and my mom met my stepdad, and all four of his sons wrestled. And, I guess she just thought it'd be something interesting that I'd like. And, it's almost like I fell in love with the mat, and it's been history from there since I was a little kid.
Yeah. So now that you're in high school, like, do you only wrestle right now, or? Do you,
No, I actually play football in the fall and summer, and then I play volleyball in the spring.
uh, so you're a junior, right?
Yeah, I'm a junior.
All right. So when you started wrestling, like, how was it for you? Like starting off, like, were you a
It was
stud coming around to the mat, or was it a hard process for you?
it was difficult. It was just as a little kid, it's kind of you spin around in the circle, and the arms are locked on each other's shoulders, and whoever falls over first wins. And from there on, I started getting a little bit better and better every year. And I actually took a break and played basketball for a while. Just because I was pretty tall as a younger kid, in like
Yeah.
grade school. And I took a break and then came back seventh grade and kind of, like I said, fell back in love with it, and just kept going.
Yeah. So you started the sport like when you're 5, 6 years old. You started playing. Was it like more of like a fun thing, or was it like I want to be the best at this?
There was a lot of kids, that I still wrestle with to this day that, they're in that mentality where they're trying to be the best they can be. And, obviously I share that with them, but, the coaches really taught us, from a young age at the school I go to, is just have fun with it. You
Yeah.
start the match shaking hands, you end the match with shaking hands. My coach is very, very, tough on the respect part of it. Respect your teammates, respect your opponent. Know when to go hard in practice, but know when to take it easy when you're wrestling with those junior high kids. I know it's fun to throw them around and stuff, but you're there to show them, not to just beat them up. And it's been like that. I got pulled up as a freshman, and we had a district champ and then a state blood round. He lost in the blood rounds the year before. So we've had some really good heavyweights come out that I've been practicing with, and they were good. So I just, like I said, it was rough. It was rough being a junior high kid and being a heavyweight, especially when you're wrestling around with state qualifiers and district champs, and it was rough.
Yeah, same with me, man. Like I have a lot of college kids come back. It's not even like they were all heavyweights in high school. They all just end up wrestling heavyweight, but the dudes are gigantic at a
Yeah.
point. So starting to say you came back for wrestling, you came at seventh grade. So like, how was it coming back? Like after you took a couple years off to play basketball?
It clicked. It clicked right back in. I got the mindset back. I had to learn how to shoot and everything again, which heavyweights don't shoot. But it was interesting. I got beat up definitely a couple times. There was a couple times where I just, you get the wind taken out of you, and you're like, oof, I don't know if I really want to keep doing this, but it's all about perseverance and just keep pushing through. And I think I was in the consolation semifinals of the junior high, like the end of the year tournament,
Yeah.
and I ended up getting beat by a freshman that was still on the junior varsity team. And he like low ankle picked me and just put me on my back. And I got pinned my seventh grade year. That was the end of my season. Probably won 10 matches maybe. It was a good year coming back from not wrestling for so long, but it was interesting.
Yeah. I get the like. See, I only started wrestling my freshman year of high school.
Yeah.
It was pretty rough. Same, like I went 1-18. The one win was a varsity pin though, so it's kind of a
Mhm.
different experience. Like I should have bull rushed the kid. If you're on my Instagram, you've seen that
Yeah,
video.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. But then like my sophomore year, I won 10 varsity matches, which is crazy. Nobody really thought I'd get this far. Then junior year, I won my first tournament. I went 17-12, and this senior year, I went 26-10 with one of the hardest schedules like I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like 5 D1 kids on my thing, and the rest 5 were just me choking the entire match. It's not even like
And
that happens.
that's the
So he
rest.
came back in 7th and 8th grade. Like I've never wrestled in middle school, but I'm saying from like what I've seen, it looks like coaches are more about like the fun aspect of the sport and not like that. But I've also seen coaches that just straight up yell at their kids, not
Yeah.
even like out of frustration or like the kid's just bad. It's more like they just want more out of their kids and they just want the best for them. Sometimes the kids don't really know how to comprehend that mentally and how to feel like because all they know is they're getting yelled at by like a 30-year-old dude, right?
Yeah.
So like, has that ever happened to you?
No, I can't say from our school, no. But I've been at tournaments like you said when I'm in middle school, and there's kids running after matches because they lost. I've seen that. I've seen kids get pinned and then they're getting screamed at by their coaches. And my like I said, my coach was always just go have fun. You're still young. We're in not even third, fourth grade. Some of the kids on our team, and
Yeah,
it's just about the fun aspect. I feel like, till you hit that varsity and then, then the coaches start yelling at you, they're getting you hyped before a match. I feel like then that's okay to get yelled at. Then you're running after you lose. Like that's
yeah,
acceptable. But for the little kids, I don't really see the point of yelling at them. My niece and nephew down in Texas both wrestle. They're, I think, like 9 and 6. And, you know, they're just going out there and having fun. And,
yeah. They don't know anything else. Like,
that's the problem is you see a lot of times teams are struggling to fill lineups on junior high, and you have all these kids wrestling in elementary. And, it's like it's because of how tough these elementary coaches are being on these kids that once they have an option to just not do it anymore, they're in seventh grade at our school, at least that's the high school. 7 through 12 is our high school. They're in the high school. They don't want to do it anymore. They've been doing it since they were 4 or 5 years old. And I feel like that's the problem with elementary wrestling is the coaches are screaming at the kids. The coaches are putting those kids through practice every single day. They're going to these tournaments hours and hours away. I feel like that almost ruins the sport. Takes the fun out of it.
yeah. So for ours, we have like the middle school calendars are normally at our school. They got moved this year, which kind of sucks. But they used to tell the entire high school team to show up to that tournament. It was like mandatory that we showed up, just helped around with stuff, like not ref the matches, but like we'd run the tables.
Yeah.
I mean, I really wouldn't do anything. I would just sit there and watch the matches,
Yeah.
and I just chill for the heavyweight matches because like watching middle school heavyweights is like the funniest thing you can see.
It is funny. I love
Yeah,
our middle school heavyweight. He's coming up to varsity next year, and I can't wait. He's a great kid.
yeah,
He's a great kid. He's not the best, but he has the drive and the heart, and
yeah,
that's all that really matters.
yeah. So what happened was the other kid hit like a throw by on him, and he was just standing behind him. And what the kid did was just pick up his leg, and the kid flopped straight on his back. I would have the video, but like since I started running the meme page, I had to like delete all the videos to create space. Kind of sucks. And then after that, he stands up immediately, gets headlocked by the other kid, and just starts sliding across the entire mat. And then eventually our kid pins that kid by like rolling through a headlock. And then I hear the other coach just yelling at the kid, and I'm just like, "Damn, dude, you're yelling like a 11-year-old kid."
Yeah.
And I see the kid just like just like walk out to the hallway and just sit down and start crying.
Yeah, you see that a lot with the
Yeah,
younger kids. They get yelled at and they just don't know how to react because
yeah.
again, you're a little kid getting yelled at by some 35-year-old guy who's nobody to you half the
The coach
time.
was like 6'5", also. So
Yeah,
he's a big man.
yeah.
Like
Especially
you
when
also have
they're
to,
that young too. It's like
yeah,
that guy's this much taller than you.
yeah. You also have to look at like these matches. Like if you ever like just going through YouTube one day, you see Flow Wrestling or something like that, just post like these old youth matches. You know who Steve O'Poulin is, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, the kid from wherever he is in New York.
Yeah, New
Like
York.
he's
Yeah.
wrestling a kid who plays fourth in the state this year from Jersey. They were both like 6. You just hear parents going crazy. He's like rip him like with the legs and stuff, and like that's like one of the high level youth matches, but like it's not really high level, but it's just like it's like a more hyped up match. Like, what do you feel about that and like that perspective? Like hyping up youth matches like that.
I
It
mean,
just
I
puts so
understand
much pressure on
at
the
that
kids.
point, it's like, these kids they're young, and, here it's PJWs, I think it's like the Pennsylvania Junior Wrestling States, whatever, that's what that
Yeah,
is. It's like the youth kids. I'm pretty sure that, like, that kid was from New York. He was probably a however many time junior state champ at that point. And, who knows how good the other kid was state, medal wise or tournament wise. I mean, I get that. I mean, it's crazy flows covering matches like that with those
yeah,
kids like that. But I've seen it too, like young Mark Hall and, all them wrestling and stuff like that. And I get it. When you're seeing, powerhouses like that wrestling each other, those kids are going to go far. They're going to be state champs. They're going to be national champs. I guess that level, I guess, is acceptable for even for Flow to be covering it. They got to be good. They can't.
yeah.
They're not just gonna watch two little kids run around in a circle.
Yeah, I've seen some of the craziest matches on there. What was crazier, they all happened to like 106 and stuff. Like freshman year of high school, I saw Zahid Valencia versus Vincenzo Joseph, and it was like Luke Pletcher versus Chadra was a crazy one, and there was a bunch of others. It was
I
just
think was that at who's number one? The Luke Pletcher Chad Red one. I think
yeah,
that was.
that scramble was
The
insane.
scramble was nuts.
Yeah,
That was
it's
wild.
crazy because like you put kids of those level just against each other, and they both have each other figured out so well that's like impossible to score. But then you watch them in college, like the style completely changes. Like if you watch them in these tournaments, they're just wrestling free just to have fun.
Yeah.
It's like whoever wins wins. Like you're top guy in the country either way.
Yeah.
But it's just like for that pride in that number one spot.
Yeah.
So we'll just fast forward a little bit to your high school career, your freshman year. Just walk
Yeah.
us through it.
I get pulled up as a freshman after, a decent eighth grade season. I actually ended up only wrestling one time in eighth grade just to do the, struggling to make weight and everything, which is that was been a struggle for me for the
Yeah.
longest time.
How much did you weigh coming into freshman year?
Freshman, I was wrestling. Coming into freshman year, I wasn't too heavy. I was maybe just below 300 pounds probably.
All right. So
And
you were just like a big kid in general.
yeah, I'm a big kid in general. My dad's huge. My dad's a big guy.
How
I
tall are you?
built big, I have big shoulders. So I got pulled up as a freshman on the varsity lineup after our stud heavyweight graduated the year before,
Yeah.
and cutting weight. I'm on weight before the season starts. I think we had 2 weeks before we started, actually having matches and everything, and they just had like a blood drive in our school, so we rolled out the mats back into the wrestling room because they do it in the wrestling room.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
We do that too,
Yeah.
actually.
And they took on the mats out, put them back, and we forgot to kick them against the wall.
Yeah.
I'm wrestling with my partner. He tries to do a shot, and I step like out to go sprawl. The heavyweight sprawl is deadly. You're done. You get your ankle. I got my ankle stuck in the crack between the mat and the wall.
Damn.
My leg stayed, and my body went, and I snapped my tibia and fibula.
So just folded on top of each other.
Yeah, I folded my ankle, my leg went back, just snapped,
That's tough.
and that was it.
Were you the only heavyweight at this time?
Yeah, we ended up forfeiting heavyweight the entire rest of the season,
Yeah.
except for a couple tournaments. We had like a 220, who's like one of my best friends, Cade, and he ended up getting bumped up a couple tournaments, and
Yeah.
he wrestled, and he did pretty well for an undersized heavyweight. He was pretty strong, quick. He was a shooter.
Yeah.
So that's he helped out a lot.
Yeah. So of course that's like a tough injury they can
Those
go through. It's like you're not mentally prepared for it, just being that young in general. Like my freshman year, if that would have happened to me, most likely I would just quit. Honestly, I wouldn't have went back to it. Like
That's
thankfully, like I've never been injured like to that extent. It's always just like cutting something or like bruising something like really bad. But like now I'm kind of prepared for it. It's like I'm too invested in the sport that like if something were to happen, I would not give it up. So like how
yeah.
did that impact you mentally, like as a freshman?
As a freshman, my coach, Mike Griffith, wonderful guy. We actually ended up having to say goodbye to him this season. He had a son 3 years ago. He ended up stepping away from the position and then coming back because we ended up needing a coach. And wonderful guy. And he really put it into me that even though I'm hurt and even though I wasn't able to wrestle, I'm still part of that team. And I was still somebody to look forward to talk to, somebody to look at when, when someone needed something, when someone needed just anybody to talk to on the team. I started taking the role of I would carry the medical bag or I'd carry the water for bring stuff in for the tournaments and stuff. He kept me in the loop with everybody. He wasn't, he had me come in and sit and watch practice. He wouldn't just, he would call me when I wouldn't come to practice and be like, hey, where you at? I know you can't wrestle. I know it sucks, but you got to come. You got to still make sure that you're keeping the wrestling mindset. And, I lost it towards the end of the year. Going into my sophomore year, I played football for the first time and ate a lot because I figured, I'm a big lineman. I just got to get as big as I could. And, I got out of hand with that. My dad ended up getting sick when I was freshman going into sophomore year. That really messed with just me mentally. And I think coming into sophomore year season, I was 345 pounds. Just got out of hand. And, I think about that, a lot. I really just hated myself at that point. I didn't think I was going to come out for the wrestling team that year. I thought that was going to be it. I didn't do anything freshman year to start a sophomore season, that much overweight was nuts. I didn't think I was going to be able to do it, but a lot of tears, blood, and sweat went into it. A lot of cutting weight, just a lot of just dealing with my mental stuff and doing that, and then also dealing with the physical aspect of it. And my coaches helped a lot. This was the first year, my sophomore year, we ended up getting a heavyweight coach specifically for me and the 220 pounders. He's probably about 6'4", 6'5", 340 pounds. He was an ex-prison guard. Super big guy, super nice, he wrestled at Ryder and then wrestled at Wilkes or Kings
What's his name?
for 2 years ago. Matt Carey. He wrestled at Lake Lehman. He was a state fifth.
Yeah, I was talking to those schools also, Ryder and Wilkes and Kings.
Yeah. So he was a huge help. He was also a big aspect in don't give up. And I was coming close to weight about 4 days before the conference tournament. I was about 12, 13 pounds over still. I think I was maybe 2 days out.
Mm-hmm.
And my coach looks at me and we have it's that old floor, that old gym floor with the cement in between the blocks.
Yeah.
And he points at the crack in the cement. He goes, look at that crack. And he goes, you have to follow that crack and that path, that small, short path, that straight path to be able to wrestle. And I'll never forget it. I cut weight for 2 days straight, just the usual sucking weight. And I did it. I was actually 284 on the scale at weigh-ins for this tournament. I got on the bus and my coach was holding back tears, telling the bus driver, because our bus driver's name is Pam. She's a wonderful lady. She drives us every year. And, she would always bust my ass about it, make weight, you gotta get down to weight. And I was like, I got you. I got every time. And she was, they're holding back tears, both of them. Cause as soon as I stepped on the bus, he goes, Pam, Derek's wrestling tonight. And I ended up wrestling at the conference tournament after sucking weight. And first match I got handed to me. I got thrown around like a rag doll. And then my second match, I ended up losing by a point. A heartbreaker. I went 2-0 at the conference tournament. So I ended up pulling the last seed at the district tournament that year. Coming into it, no one really thought anything of me. I was whatever. So we wrestled 2 dual meets before districts. One of them was our senior night, which we had a kid, DJ Erickson, loved him to death, great kid. He was the stud of the team. Tonight was his 100th win. He was going for his 100th win that night. Our senior night.
Your team or the other team?
For our team.
Your team, all right.
Yeah, for my high school, he was stud. He ended up going all the way to state, getting 5th at 152. it was his night. The
Yeah.
newspaper was there, news was there for him, and I ended up. We ended up pulling some heavyweight somewhere my sophomore year. Super, super, super good kid. He ended up breaking his collarbone. So that's when the weight really fell on me, where I gotta start wrestling.
Yeah.
I gotta start making weight hardcore, like getting down to weight, because we were forfeiting at that point. We had a heavyweight. I missed weight. He broke his collarbone. Now we got nobody. We went from two to nobody real quick. So they ended up. He wrestled that night, the regular match, and that was my first action in front. Packed high school. Everyone's here to watch this kid. College coaches are there. Newspapers there. Parents out the wazoo. Never heard such a big crowd before for a high school wrestling match. And I opened it. I was opening up the match as an exhibition for
Yeah.
heavyweight, and they sent me out there my first time wrestling in front of a crowd in a duel in the dark with the big spotlight. Nervous as hell. I'm losing 11-0. I got taken down a bunch, turned. I got rode out the entire second period. He turned me for a set of backs the second period. I almost got pinned. I ended up rolling like a fatty roll, but I couldn't get him on his back, but it was enough for me just to get out on my belly out. And I ended up third period starts and they put me on top. And this is when they really figured out that was my position.
Yeah.
Top power just turned him over. And I think the first 20 seconds of the third period, he tried to turn into me, and I just arm and head and just threw him on his back and pinned him. And I've never heard the newspaper even said they've never heard that gym so loud in their lives. Everyone was there for him, but it almost he even said it in his interview after his match, which he did win, getting his 100th win. That's a pretty big deal in high school. And he was even like, it's not my night. He really made it about me, which I was really thankful for that. And then the next night, I started my seat. I wrestled in the starting lineup, and I ended up again second period. This time I get on top, and same situation. Kid turns into me, and I just
Just
put him on his
whacking.
back, pinned him again, and that's when it really started. And people started noticing. They're like, all right, well, this kid's seated above him at districts. This kid's seated above him at districts. He just pinned both of them. Maybe he's not going to go 2-0 at districts, but, no one really said that. They ended up writing a big newspaper article about me in the local newspaper about just everything going on with me and, how it's crazy that I even got to where I was. And then came the district tournament. I wrestled the first seed first and, took a hard loss. I dusted myself off and was like, all right, we're not done.
So
We
wait, so
have more time to wrestle.
how does the district tournament work? So I'm in New Jersey, right? So we have one entire tournament for the whole state. It goes districts, regions, states. We have 32 districts. Each
Yeah.
district has between 8 and 10 teams in it.
Mhm.
4 regions, so 8 regions, so 4 districts to a region. And then we have a state tournament. So top 3 in the district go to regions, top 4 in the regions go to state, and top 8 place. But in
Yeah.
districts, it's single elimination until the semifinals.
No, our districts is double elimination and top 4 go to
Top
regionals.
4.
Top
So you
4 go
can
to
wrestle
regionals.
back from the quarterfinals.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I wrestled back from the consolations. I won a match, then ended up losing a match, which put me in the 5th and 6th place match. And I
So you
ended
just missed out by one match.
Yeah, I missed out. I was missed out regionals by 1 spot, and that's when everyone was kind of like, "All right." And the fun thing was, 3 out of the 4 kids in front of me all graduated coming into this season. So I got my 5th place medal at districts. Everyone was kind of like, "All right, good for him. That's even better icing on the cake for me." I was upset I missed the spot. It was all right though. We looked past that. That it was still a great season for me. I ended up, I think, going 9-5, which that was good enough for me for not
This
even.
your freshman season you're talking about?
That
Or
was my sophomore season.
sophomore season.
Sophomore season.
So you didn't wrestle your entire freshman
No,
season.
no, my
Came
leg
back
broke.
your sophomore season
Yep.
at 345. Ended up cutting about 60 pounds, and you won 9 out of 14 matches.
Yep.
That's pretty honestly.
So then we ended up wrestling in the team district tournament, and
Wait, what's this team district then?
Team districts is like we wrestle that to see which team qualifies for the team state tournament. So Pennsylvania is
Oh,
just
so it's like, yeah,
district
I
duel.
got
Yeah,
you.
the district. It's like the district duel tournament.
Yeah.
And I wrestled that. I ended up going 2-0. We ended up with a third place finish or fourth place finish. Again, my sophomore season, I had a forfeit and a pin. That tournament, I ended up clinching the fourth place, clinching to qualify for the third and fourth place match for the consolation finals. That would be so. It was up to me. It was either I win, we go on, or I lose and we go home. So I ended up pinning that kid relatively quickly, and that was probably the highlight of my year was clinching that for the boys. Being able to be like, all right, we got one more match, and they forfeited. They didn't have a heavyweight, so I got a forfeit there, and I'm sure about the forfeits
Yeah.
too. And then
You know,
comes juniors.
it's crazy. My entire sophomore year, I got 0 forfeits.
That's crazy.
But it's not even that. It's like every team that wouldn't have a heavyweight would have a stud 220. So we wrestled this one school. You know who Luis Fernandez is?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a 220. So he hits this outside shot on me, and like he fakes into me and pulls out. So I just fall right on my face, throws in the legs, and it was bad. It's the problem that like nobody knew who he was at that point because
Yeah, I was
he
gonna say
didn't.
he was pretty like not known for a while
Yeah, he
before
was a
he really.
170 as a freshman. He didn't even make it to the states. He made it to like fifth place in the region, top 4 get out. His sophomore year, he made it to states as 195. I think he lost in the round of 16 or the blood round. His junior year, he came in ranked third at 220 behind. You know who Zach Delvecchio is,
Yeah,
most likely. And then Peter Chardy, who's at Bucknell now, I think. He was behind them too. He already pinned the number 1 heavyweight in state, Michael Tile. He wrestles at
yeah,
Ryder right now. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna take this shot. And then he goes, he pins his way through the district, pins a kid in the region finals. And this one, people are like, oh, he's legit, right? And then he walks into the state tournament. People's like, oh, he gets a 6 seed. Guys are like, oh, he has this 6'2", 285-pound guy. Same guy, kind of like you, dealt with a lot of injuries his entire career. Had pinned everybody in the state up to that point. Handles this kid 5'2". And he almost got pinned at a point too. He gets to that would have been the round of 16, right? He gets into the quarters. He pins kid, no problem. Just takes the legs and cranks it. Because, like, do you know how to defend legs?
not really. I've never had a
It's
heavyweight
like,
defend legs
it's
around
not
here.
like you don't know how. It's like you have a basic idea. Just get the legs out and get out. But it's not that simple when a guy like that is coming at you.
Yeah, when you
You,
got all that weight
yeah.
on you too, that's kind of like it's a little bit
The
harder.
fact that he has the ability to keep the weight on top of you and, like, with his mobility, he's more athletic than anybody on my team, honestly. And then he gets to the semifinals. He knocks off the same kid. He didn't pin the kid because the kid picked neutral. Didn't let him pick bottom, let him right up and lost 3-0. He gets to the finals against you probably know him, Cody Wood from Pennsville.
I think I've heard of him before.
You've
Just
heard of
like
him. This
yeah,
kid was another 220. He weighed in at 218, so the one guy that Fernandez was bigger than, I think, in the entire tournament. He was the 9 seed. What's crazy is I made a bracket that year because I was like obsessed with wrestling because these are like I started to like come to my own my sophomore year.
yeah,
These are guys I would just be like obsessed with watching. So I've seen a good 10 matches on each of those 32 kids that were in the bracket.
yeah. So you kind
And
of made your own bracket and picked and choose where everyone was gonna
what's
go.
crazy is I had them both meeting in the finals.
That's wild.
Yeah, as a 6 and a 9 seed. But I did have the other kid winning because I did wrestle him in that tournament. I'm like, okay, who feels stronger? The kid caught me leaning a bit and just snapped me right to the mat. And it wasn't even like I fell down. It was like I ran at him for a little bit and I just flopped. He ran the most aggressive half I've ever felt in my life. Like he almost broke my shoulder with it. Again, he's another kid that nobody really knew about. Like, but he made states the year before at heavyweight. I think he lost in the round of 16. But like it was just like I watched his matches from the year before. There was just something different in him. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, you could see it. There's something about him that
It was just like he would go in extremely high powered pace for a minute, but he could keep that. But he could like he would last those 6 minutes. And that was
Yeah,
crazy. So when these two guys met in the finals, people was like, "Oh, it's about to be an overtime bout. This could be a 220 final, basically in any other state."
yeah,
And the guy Zach Delvecchio ended up forfeiting out of the postseason that year due to mono. You heard about that?
yeah. I knew he forfeited out. I didn't know why.
Yeah, he might not even wrestle Rutgers. That's kind of it's going to be interesting to see what happens next year. So they meet in the finals. He hits immediately. He takes a bad shot. He gets shrugged. The legs come in. He gets turned insanely fast, and then he gets turned again. He gets hit with a leg cradle, not
Yeah,
like a leg cradle, but like cradle with the leg in.
yeah.
And then second period starts. The kid who's losing, he gets in on an ankle pick. Looks like he's actually about to have him taken down. I stand up, I start screaming at the TV, seeing that it's about to happen. Looks like he's about to throw him on his back. And then Fernandez comes back and chin whips him and pins him.
That's why.
Have you ever seen these matches before? Like,
I've never seen that match, but I've seen him like matches of him before.
because you look at some states, you know who Danny Shive or something?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the kid I'm probably going to be wrestling behind next year.
yeah. I saw that he was at
He's a
Shippensburg.
stud, though.
Yeah, he was good.
He was.
He pinned the kid from ESU. I saw.
Yeah, who is that?
I don't even know the kid's name. They have like three kids that alternate
Yeah.
in and out.
It's going to be interesting. He looks like a chill dude, but see what happens.
He's a big kid
Yeah,
too.
he is. He didn't look that big in the thing.
No, he's strong. Obviously,
Yeah,
you gotta, you know, it's
yeah, of
just.
course. He's like was he like a 3-time state placer too?
I think so. He's
Yeah.
like a three-time state placer.
Yeah. The thing about Pennsylvania is like you can have like two nationally ranked kids meeting at the same weight class, and
Yeah,
you can have a weight class with like no kids at all.
yeah. I mean, we have the number one team in the nation. I think
Yeah.
they're like 5 minutes down the road from
The
me.
Wyoming 7 there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had some.
Do they wrestle the same state tournament as you guys or no?
No, they don't wrestle in the state tournament.
Have you ever seen Bo Bartlett wrestle?
Yeah, I've talked about I've seen him
That's
wrestle.
insane. I'm watching the national prep tournament, right? Just during class, and I see Bo Bartlett walk onto the mat, and he pins a kid in 4 seconds.
He's nuts.
Yeah,
That kid, he's going to Penn State. I mean, I'm hoping he stays at the weight or drops a little bit because Penn State's
what's
they're
he at,
really
like
needing some
45,
lightweight.
right?
Yeah, I think he's at like 45.
Yeah, I mean,
38,
I
38.
think Nick Lee's gone after 1 year. Nick Lee's gonna be a senior. Bo Bartlett comes in, red shirts, gets out, 141, and then you have Rob Howard coming in,
Yeah.
and I think he's probably gonna take the 125 spot. I don't think they're gonna put him in yet, though.
No, I think they're probably giving him a red shirt. They have a lot of guys. Our
Yeah,
team. Our high school goes there every summer. They have a really really good camp. I recommend that camp to anybody that wants to go and just see how these kids train, and just wrestle good kids.
yeah,
I wrestled a ton of state placers from all different states, state champs, state runner ups. I wrestled them, at this tournament, and it's hard. It's a hard camp. You're up early in the morning. They do a run, or you run to Beaver Stadium. You run steps at Beaver Stadium from the bottom to the top. It's a tough camp. You get beat up bad, and then you learn a lot because there's instructional sessions with Kale Sanderson. You're seeing Bo Nickel, David Taylor. All these guys are coming back, and they're showing you, how to wrestle. Anthony Cassar was there. He was doing, moves with Bo, and, they're doing heavyweight kind of stuff. And, we had one of our kids was wrestling with Roman Bravo Young. He gave him, instruction, just one-on-one, helping him. We had Kale Sanderson come over to our team and was talking to us about some stuff. You'd be surprised. Our team also developed this. It's like a team building, 30 minutes. The first 30 minutes of our practice, we play dodgeball. And they do the same down at Penn State. It teaches you that competitive mindset, but also having fun. And, keeping that fundamental and that, that fun and the wanting to win, even keeping that in your mind. at wrestling without wrestling.
Yeah, I'd be popping out my shoulder like half the time while playing
You
dodgeball.
throw the ball, yeah.
Yeah. Like I just aim at the smallest kid I could find.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Because as soon as somebody gets the ball and they're running after you, it's
Yeah.
not usually going to end well.
I'd just be running throughout the back and then hit a quick charge, just sprint right back.
Yeah.
It's crazy to see like guys like heavyweights just on that level. Like if you're walking through the guys like this year, who say we had Anthony Cassar. It's so easy to like figure out his scheme because he has one move from neutral, and that's the 2-on-1 to a blast double, right?
I mean, it works, man. Derek
It
White,
works very well.
it works. Yeah.
Yeah. If you look at Gable Steveson, he has the lefty underhook. But the difference with him is he does so many things with it.
Yeah, he's one of the most incredible wrestlers in the heavyweight. Even I don't know if you've seen him recently, any of his posts. His body change from last year to this year is insane.
He only dropped about 10 pounds. He went from
But you can
260
see
last year to
where the muscle definition is there, where it
still
wasn't.
maturing, you know.
He would have won nationals this year. There was no one. I mean, you see him in Paris in the finals.
The thing with Paris I've seen is, what move does he have? He has the dump.
Yeah.
That's really how I can call it. It's not even a high crusher dump. He just dives and dumps you. Paris is easily the strongest kid at the weight class. Close. I'm heard he benches like almost like 400 or 500. Comparison to that, Aaron Donald benches 500 pounds.
Yeah.
I saw a video of him squatting 700 pounds. He practices with Adam Kuhn every day, so moving the size is not a problem.
Yeah. Kuhn is a huge guy as well. He's a mountain.
Yeah. The way Gable handled Adam Kuhn was crazy.
I mean, you see Gable's practicing with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Brock's
old. Just like
he's old. Yeah. He's definitely not 285 anymore. He's definitely lower than that.
Yeah. No, Brock's probably around 285, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, he's also a big guy as well.
He looked a lot. He's just in general a big dude. He doesn't have the gas tank anymore.
Yeah, no.
But a guy like Adam Kuhn, who's that good upper body and stuff. Like, granted, Kuhn didn't have the greatest tournament. Again, after Gable, like he lost to Tony Nelson too, which kind of sucks to see. Like he beat Tony at the U.S. Open also.
But, I mean, you have the kid from Penn State, Nevels. You got Seth Nevels. So that's also a mountain of a man.
Yeah, but he's probably not going to get the starting spot next year because Kirkley is coming in.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
I mean, other than him, you got Cassiope from Iowa. Yeah. Who really would have known where he would have been? I mean, obviously, you see him being an All-American.
Yeah, of course.
There's kind of a lot. There's a lot left unturned. You got Kemmerer. You don't know where he's going to be. You got Joseph. You got Hall. Nick Lee.
You got Massa coming back from Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
You got Massa coming back at 165. Yeah. So I think you should probably get back into heavyweights.
Yeah.
Right. So like the thing about Mason Parris, because people are like, why do I not see him winning a national title? Why don't I think he has the potential to knock up Gable Steveson? I think we might as well clear that up. Yeah. So if you see Mason Parris, the way he comes in at the dump, it's meant to hit like more unathletic guys, right?
Yeah.
Or guys that just aren't as technical.
Mm-hmm.
When he hit Tony Cassiope with it, what people don't say is all they see is the guy who's about – Mason Parris doesn't even look that big, but Parris is about 255. Cassiope looks a lot bigger than you. Cassioppe's around –
He looks like he's cutting to make 285.
Yeah, Cassiope was 268. Parris is also 2 years older, I think.
Yeah.
It was only a year older because of red shirt.
Yeah.
Parris is a year older than him, and Parris is much stronger. So you can see the way he hit the dump, it was all muscle, as you can see. Granted, he did pin him, and good for him, like that. But I think if you give Cassiope another year, he takes out Mason Parris.
I agree.
And Parris versus Trent Hooger. That's a battle of a guy who's a genetic freak in Mason Parris.
Yeah.
And a guy who's also a genetic freak that has very good technique and shot defense in Trent Hooger.
Yeah. He was very slept on this season.
Yeah.
I think they should have gave him a lot more credit than what he deserved.
He was rightfully maybe like fifth. He was rightfully fifth in the nation.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing about Trent Hooger is I think he has the most potential out of
I think
any of
you'll
these
see
guys.
him go from 5 to wait. Is he? No, he's not a senior, right?
He was a redshirt sophomore this year.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
he's got plenty of time. I
yeah,
see him being maybe third next
yeah.
season. Maybe
I
one.
honestly think he can make the finals next season if he can play his cards right. But the problem for him is he doesn't do the best wrestling big kids
Yeah.
because his top game is impeccable. He's a leg rider. His leg defense is the best out of anybody at heavyweight in the country. If you saw him against Gary Traub or anything like that, he's hit that. And then he's very well rounded from neutral, great gas tank, pretty hard to score on. The only guys I've really seen exploit that, or is the only person I've really seen exploit that is Gable Stevenson and Anthony Cassar.
Yeah.
So yeah, that could play it honestly any way. And then another guy who I think is really slept on is Matt Stencil from Central Michigan.
Yeah.
Dude's like 6'4", 285.
That's
He
a big
pinned
one.
Mason Paris in the blood round last year.
Yeah.
Paris took a shot. Stencil flattened him and cradled up and stuck him in the first period. But Paris did beat him this year.
Yeah.
But what impressed me most about Stencil, have you ever seen this guy's leg defense?
It's crazy.
Yeah. He hit the splits on Mason Paris and I was just watching this like
You barely see heavyweights hit the split in the net, like in the college, the collegiate
it's like I
level.
think he just did it for fun too.
Yeah.
That's the most interesting part. So who else is really in the weight class? I mean,
Yeah.
there's a
I mean,
couple guys people sleep on. Who Zach Elam from Missouri is?
yeah, I heard that he was pretty good.
Yeah. So he redshirted this year. He took an Olymp. I don't think it's an Olympic redshirt. I think he just took an Olympic redshirt because I don't think he qualified.
Yeah, I was gonna say I heard like he redshirted and he was trying to make the Olympics, but
Yeah. I don't think he qualified for the Olympic redshirt, but I think he just wanted that extra year,
yeah,
because he gets to train with Don Bradley, who's also a stud, and
yeah,
Jaden Cox also, occasionally when he comes back. But the thing that shocked me most, this guy was a freshman. He ended up, I think, losing in the round right before the blood round at nationals. He beat Conan Jennings from Northwestern. But what the craziest match of the year was, he took Derek White, who made the national finals that year, to overtime,
yeah.
which was a lot of people were shocked because people were like, "Oh, White's just gonna muscle him," because Elam is not really a guy people really know
That
about.
was also a freak of nature. Derek
Yeah,
White was he. How much was he weighing? I don't think he was even close.
around 240.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was light. I mean, he almost had the Kyle Snyder build where he was like he was looking big.
Yeah, his speed just isn't up to there. Like honestly, that's what I've seen.
Yeah. Well, I
Then
know
who was
when he was a freshman, he was only wrestling what, like 150 or 160
in high school or college?
in college.
College, I think he was. I think he was still like an 84, 97.
Yeah, I knew he wasn't a heavyweight though. He wasn't always a
Yeah,
heavyweight.
no, he made the bump to heavyweight his senior year.
Yeah, you see a lot of guys do that though. The Kassar, he was battling for a spot with Nickel, and
Actually, no, he moved up to heavyweight his junior year. He lost to Kyle Snyder, and that was a pretty close match actually. Well, I mean, not
yeah.
really. He got
Well,
major, but
then you see Kassar who beat Colin Moore
yeah,
97 that year as well, which was crazy.
yeah. I think he should have got the starting spot. Like, that's something people were like, "Oh,
I
Shakur
would
got
have
better."
loved to see Bo Nickel at heavyweight.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna turn out good for him.
I think he would have still won a national title. I 100% think that Bo Nickel would have beat Gable and Derek White.
I don't think he's better than Anthony Cassar. I'm just gonna say that. Like I don't want to be that guy. Like, oh, Bo Nickel's not gonna win it, but that's just realistic. Like how I feel about it.
I mean, yeah, but he dominated 197. No one was close to him. Pin Colin Moore.
You would think like he would be the guy to blow it like wide open. Like what's his name? Who did it? Like not like Kyle Snyder won all his matches close like every year
Yeah.
pretty much. Like he won by one takedown on Kuhn. Medbury kind of handled it a little bit. It was like 5-2, I think.
Yeah.
And then Gwiazdowski went to overtime. You see guys like Zane Rutherford basically teched his way to a national title.
That was wild.
The senior, yeah. Bo, you think he was going to do that because of the way he lost his freshman year to Miles Martin. He beat Gabe Dean, defending two-time national champion finals. He pinned Miles Martin his junior year. And you would think, like, oh, he might go big or something. He only beats Colin Moore 5-2. Thing is, like, when you wrestle him a little bit, I don't think
Yeah, but
I
then
think he's not
he
that hard
pinned
to figure
more in the
out.
duel, right? He cradled more in the duel. He
Yeah, he
pinned.
pinned him in the duel, but that's their first meeting. It's like
Yeah.
Bo's gonna hit you with something funky. I just think against bigger and insanely athletic dudes, Bo's just not the greatest. If you saw Bo versus Jaden Cox.
I mean, yeah, you saw the announcement today that Kassar signed with the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club.
Yeah, of course. He should have signed with the Rutgers, but I'm just saying.
I mean, yeah, isn't he? He's
He's from Jersey, you
yeah.
know.
You know, that's also, that's going to be, somebody who you kind of have to still think about for the
Yeah.
Olympics wise,
Penn State has a history of like amazing heavyweights too.
Hmm.
Who was this before Kassar? We had Nick Nevels and Jimmy Lawson was
Yeah.
another stud that existed. He was from New Jersey also. I think he's considered like probably the best high school heavyweight like
Who's
ever, honestly.
the kid from Fresno? Isn't there like a
AJ Nevels,
yeah.
yeah, and
I
then
mean,
there was Josh Hokett this year too.
yeah, I was like, I knew there was another Neville's. I didn't know where he was at.
The other heavyweight, Josh Hokett, the one who was wrestling in nationals, just got drafted to the 49ers to play running back.
Yeah, I heard that
Yeah.
he got. That's crazy. That big of a kid playing running
Did you
back.
ever see the? I mean, that's not that big. Like, go NFL standards.
Yeah,
It's just interesting to see it because like oh, running backs to come like just mentally in the back of your head, it's like oh, this guy's gonna be a lightweight, but like you're like hold up, he's still a Division I football player. He's still gonna be like 200 pounds. So it's just like interesting to see how like all this stuff plays out.
yeah. It's almost crazy to see how football and wrestling connect. Like, the
Yeah,
amount of guys that play in the NFL that wrestled in college or wrestled in
yeah.
high school. I know
So it's crazy to see.
Clemson has a guy in their football line that was a three or four time Georgia State champ.
Yeah, you saw Tristan Wirfs, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, when he got drafted, and you saw him versus Aaron Costello.
yeah. That was
Did you ever you saw that?
yeah. I saw that match.
Yeah.
That was you see somebody like that, wrestling like that, and you're thinking, all right, this kid's gonna
Yeah,
Then you see his football highlights, and again, you're like he
yeah,
dual sport athlete like that. That's just crazy
yeah,
to the next level. Here from Pennsylvania, we have Southern Columbia. We have one of the Garcias, um, three-time football state champ. I think a two-time or three-time wrestling state champ. He's going to Michigan to play football and wrestle. And I can only imagine how that's like not on Division I level, but at a Division I level, that has to be incredibly difficult to do both and still continue to do college.
yeah. Of course. And like again, like if you look back at the national tournament, like a lot of these guys go on to play football after. Like not a lot, but like more than you would think. Maybe like a couple guys,
Yeah.
and that's going to the NFL or like arena or like something like that.
Yeah. Well, that was the crazy thing. My heavyweight coach always tells me this story. He got a Division I football offer, and he never played football. They looked at his sheer size and were like, "All right, we want you to come and play football." And
Yeah,
he never played football before in
yeah,
his life.
that's how it happens a lot of the time. That kind
Yeah.
of sucks too for a lot of kids. Like I'm 6'2". I was about 295 during football, and coaches were just like, "Oh, you're not tall enough. You're not going to play D1." But I
Yeah.
had like D2 coaches hunting for me, so it's
Yeah.
just how it plays out.
So, how did you make the pick between football and wrestling?
I mean, going into my senior year, I was a lot more I was a lot more dominant with football. I went 17-12. Really wasn't expecting anything crazy for my senior season. Um, After football was over, my wrestling season almost didn't happen. I was like 315. And I was like, might as well just join the bowling team or some shit, right?
Yeah.
At that point, because I was like really good at that, and I'm like, okay, we're hopping to wrestling. I end up making the cut, missing the first match. It's like a quad. My coach like he tried to give me an exhibition match. The first two kids did not want to wrestle me. The third kid was the next kid was a Rutgers commit, right? He's like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll wrestle him. And then I'm like, okay, I've seen this kid wrestle before, which is where the first time this ever helped me out in my life.
Yeah.
I've seen him wrestle. He goes upper body. He comes down to tap at a knee pick, and he charges at you. So what I see is if I go for a lat drop, it's going to be there. And I went for it, and I hit it too. and that's like the loudest I've ever heard the place. I still ended up getting pinned because I went for another lat jump after he got out from bottom for no reason whatsoever. It was like, why not go for it?
Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
exhibition. You might as well.
I'm mute myself for like 1 second. We're chilling. Yeah, I have something in my throat. My bad.
You're good.
So like the first two kids didn't want to wrestle me. It's not like I missed weight. It's like I wasn't allowed to wrestle due to hydration.
Yeah.
Because I weighed in at 290, I'm thinking, okay, 5 pounds, 6 pounds in a week, I'm chilling. And my thing's at 285.3 the day I was supposed to wrestle.
Yeah, that usually catches me too.
I weighed in at 283.3.
Yeah, that's they just at that point they're just trying to make sure you're healthy. And I'm sure you were healthy cutting
Yeah,
weight. You probably
I'm
weren't
chilling.
drained.
It's like I had a month to do it.
You
I
just
just
didn't.
thought it would come off naturally pretty quick. It
Yeah.
just didn't. Because people try to say, oh, you're heavyweight cutting weight. It should be pretty easy for you.
Yeah, everyone always used to say that to me. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not as simple as it looks.
It's just a lot more mental. It's like you're not used to doing it. Because me, like weight's been an issue my whole life, but I've never been over 285, so I never really have to worry about that. It's like freshman year, I would just starve myself for no reason whatsoever. At like 250, they try to lose as much weight as possible, but for no reason. And then next thing you know, I got like I went all out with like binge eating and stuff like after the season was over. And I hit 300 pounds my sophomore year. I got down to 280 because my coach was like constantly like fat shaming and shit. Like during football, he'd be like, "Oh, if you were 250, you would have made that block. If you're 250, because we ran triple option, right?
Yeah.
I hate it." And then my junior year, I got down to 260. I was feeling great. We ended up losing the first round of the playoffs, so we had a week off till the wrestling season starts. I ended up gaining 21 pounds in that week, and I was back to where I started around 280.
Yeah.
But I ended up getting down to around 265 time some district tournament. End up losing in the first round to like not a bad kid. He was a very good kid. Like that weight, the weight class has always been stacked. And I was just like, damn. But then our football coaches, they quit. So I go to a different school, right? Um, I end up getting up to like 295 where I played most of the season. I went on a cruise. I got up to 310, almost died the next day of practice. I basically played the game. I got first team all conference, first team all division. Like I wasn't anything special, but like I was a pretty dominant kid. I had a D1 kid who played. I played left guard. He played right guard. The center was a sophomore. The two tackles were like some 190-pound seniors. Like they weren't bad. Like they could hold their own, but like it's not your ideal position to have
Yeah.
guys who are like 6 foot 190 at
Yeah.
tackle. He was like, "Why not? We're gonna have you two guards pulling, doing everything." It's not like I was out of shape. Like I was in better shape than a lot of the kids on our team. Like I would still run. It's just like eating stuff goes like that. We end up like obviously the team come back with new coaches is not going to do as well as you would think. We lost. We got the 7 seed in the playoffs. We had to play the 2 seed. We were down 35-3 at halftime, and honestly, a lot of them it was a lot closer than 35-3. It was maybe like a 14-3 game. We gave up a bunch of possessions, fumbling, doing a bunch of stupid shit. And I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be my last game." The worst part is, before the game, we get food, right? And we have like an hour to do whatever before the bus leaves. We hopped in the car, like one of my other senior friends. 'Cause I didn't have my license yet. We drove to Target and we bought a bunch of snacks to eat on the bus back, knowing we would lose. So I got it on the way back, and then we all just went for food afterwards. We ended up outscoring them in the second half too, 17-7. So it's not like maybe if you play that way the first half. But I
Yeah.
still played the best game of my life. And I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna play football in college after this. Might as well not even wrestle this year. And then my mental thing got the best of me. And then I'm the left guard. The right tackle is our 182 pounder. But he's the best kid on our team, hands down. He comes up to me, talks to me one day, like, "Oh, we really need you to wrestle, man. Like, I know you might not want to do this. I know this has been an issue for you, but he had like a real talk with me. He's like, I think it's gonna be good for you mentally. I think it's gonna be good on your body. I think it'd be better for you if you just come wrestle. Just give this one last shot before you call it quits."
Yeah, it's like sometimes that's what you need to hear. It's like you don't
Yeah,
want to hear it from your coaches. You don't want to hear it from your parents. It's also you want to hear it from somebody on your team. And
yeah,
like I said earlier, in my freshman year, that I was that guy.
yeah,
When kids were there, they'd walk out of the practice room, slam the door. They'd be on their way out the door, leaving. I'm not doing this. It's whatever. I'd be like,
yeah,
hey, listen, like this team needs you. Like it's like you might have had a rough practice, or like you and coach might have had a disagreement, but it's like you still are needed. Like this is like our coach is very family oriented. Like this is a family. Like this team is a family. Like I get it. I get like you might have got in a fight with some like your practice partner.
yeah,
Like, it's whatever.
yeah.
You gotta blow it
That
off.
kid, like, he's like one of my best friends on the team, right? Like, just in general, like he's a guy like you can talk to in general. Like,
Yeah.
it's like I'm like more of like I'm a violent person. I'm just gonna say it, right? And I fought him a couple times during practice. Is like, but like after the day's over, it's not that deep. It was just a fight.
Yeah.
The
It
whole team
happens
just
all the
yeah,
time, man.
teams just love to gas stuff like that up, right? But I think the best part, the reason why I wrestled in college, because this season overall number wise, it looks a lot more successful. I went from having 17 wins to 26 wins, but I had a bunch of failures this season. I choked in every. I basically didn't I didn't qualify for the region tournament. The tournament that I won junior year, I choked my entire balls off that match. I was sick that day. I did like a bunch of stuff. I almost lost in semis as the 1 seed. I basically lost. I pinned myself in overtime with a bad lat drop of the tournament. I was a defending champion. Like then it just hits you. It was like, and then the tournament before I was a 3 seed. I'm winning 2-1. Get called for locking hands, and then no, I was 2-2. I get called for locking hands. I'm down. No, hold up, my bad. Yeah, so I'm down by one hit into the third. My coach is like pick bottom, get ridden out. So I lose that. I place third, but it's like in the GMC tournament, I'm the 4 seed out of like 20 some people, which is the county tournament. I make it to semis against a kid who pinned me in the first period, who's very good. He's committed to Muhlenberg to wrestle. He pinned me in the first period last time we wrestled. I had an amazing match with him. It was a 1-0 match. He couldn't score me from neutral. I go for a throw with 10 seconds left for a chance to win the match because I can't ride him out for more than 5 seconds, honestly. He got too fast. End up losing 3-0. So I'm like, there's basically like, you know how when they have people walking onto the mat holding the thing? That's top 4. They do that. So I need to win one wrestle back to place top 4. I was better than the 3 seed. I know that. But time come this match, I'm winning 2-0. But mentally, I was already so damaged that, like, I already didn't win this match. I'm never going to be county champ. I'm never going to be able to do all this. And then I end up getting – the kid was like a 220 too. But he was insanely strong. He hits me with a random shitty lat drop, and I'm just not paying attention really. And he ends up pinning me with that. So I end up placing 5th in that tournament. In the district tournament, which is the last tournament I wrestled in, I won my first match, pinned the kid first period as 4 seed, 5 seed, pinned him. It's nothing crazy. Then I had the same kid who I lost to in the semifinals of the county tournament. I ended up getting pinned this time. My coach said pick bottom because I can't score him from neutral. It's not really a bad call. I had to do it. He ended up hitting the bar and stacking me like 20 seconds into the period. He was like, oh, well, I took my shot. And then I ended up having a D1 commit, kid who's committed to Ryder in my third place match. Basically, I'm like, I need to shut this kid down for the first 2 periods. Third period matches in my favor because I know I'm in better shape than this kid. 10 seconds into the match, hits me with a blast double. So I'm like, okay, we're going to go for this throw because I know I can't get out on him. He's very good on top. Well, insanely strong. And then took me right to my back, got 2 near fall, and I'm down 4-0. Gets a point for stalling on top, 4-1. So basically, like that. Third period, I'm charging at him, like, but he's backing away the entire time, have nothing really to do. And I give up 4 points for another desperation move just because I can't throw him if he's backing away like that, right? And then just ended up losing. But that's the match that really hit me because I placed top 3 and coming that close but falling that short. And I knew I was in a district that was insanely tough, right?
Yeah.
So it was just like I know like that was like the little kick in the ass I needed. Told myself like I have a bunch of unchecked boxes and I need to get this done.
So that was kind of like the point where you're like, hey, like
Yeah.
it almost made you realize like your love for wrestling. So, was it a tough decision to pick wrestling over football?
No, but
No.
like it was hard to tell my football coach. Like I really didn't know how to tell him
Yeah.
because he's putting
For
so much
me,
time and effort for like just me as an individual. Because he's like, I see potential in you. Like I think if you make it here, you can be great.
for me,
Because
it
he
was
knows about where I've come from, like how far I've made it.
yeah, I share that same thing with you. Where it's like,
Yeah.
you know, I might not have gotten to wrestle this season. Sadly, again, same leg. I was over again. I was probably about 320, cutting weight again. I was 4 pounds over. So I'm sweatpants and a hoodie at gym class running, and my friends are playing full court basketball. They're like, hey, you'll be sweating, you'll be running. I'm like, all right, sounds like a plan. Go up for a rebound, and all of a sudden I land my ankle, and my leg lands like this, my
Yeah.
ankle lands like that, and my leg bone just pushed all the way down. My leg bone hit the ground, my ankle stayed flat like on the floor, and I ended up breaking my ankle. And
Yeah.
the kid I pinned, a kid I pinned last season ended up getting the second in the district, and I would have definitely pushed my way through the tournament. I was so lucky, just from the team standpoint, where we had about like a 95 pounder who he was cutting to make 95. He was 100% down with it to wrestle heavyweight, and he's also one of my best friends. His name's Tavon Hines. He ended up wrestling heavyweight at the district tournament and got third, and that was huge for him. That was
Yeah.
huge for him. He was another kid like me where he took a break from wrestling, but his break was in high school. He wrestled seventh grade, then didn't come back till his sophomore season. He wrestled seventh and eighth grade, or just seventh grade. I don't really remember. But yeah, he came back his junior year this year, came back and wrestled, and ended up with third. He took his trip down to regionals and went 2-0, but it was still for him. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge for a guy like that that's coming off, not even barely wrestling at like the whole season. He was wrestling 95, and he was hardworking, super super hardworking, and I think I could have been where he was at, and it sucked because obviously like I saw it and I knew like this was my year this season, and I'm sure senior season I got another season left, which I'm
Yeah.
happy about. I just got to make sure I stay healthy, and that's what I'm kind of working at now, not getting too heavy. I mean, I'm sure all the heavyweights are over right now. I'm probably like, I think I was 317 yesterday.
You were 317.
Yeah. So I got to get down, start cutting now,
I
so I
was
don't have to
309
cut.
today.
Hmm?
I was 309 today.
I know. There's like I talked to a lot of the heavyweights during quarantine, and everyone just eats.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's like I'm trying to control myself, but like
yeah.
it's impossible.
Yeah, it's impossible when you're at home all the time. I've been going out a lot lately, like, going for hiking and stuff like that, just trying to, stay active, because who knows? I don't know if I'm going to be able to play football this year. My
Yeah.
senior season might get
It's like
taken.
for me, it was basically just like I didn't want to know like what could have been.
Yeah.
For me, like I didn't want to play football because it's like I've almost had like same as you. Like I've almost had my ankle snapped so many times, but I've just like finessed my leg like out of the way like the last second. And I'm like, maybe what if I don't this time? Maybe I'm gonna miss out my chance to wrestle like the one sport I actually care about. Like
Yeah.
I wanted to quit football since my sophomore year. I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
Yeah.
The same thing
I
with
ended up
yeah,
quitting for like a week, my junior year this season for football. I ended up, quitting for a week, and I came back and I realized, what I was missing out on. And I wasn't a starter this year. It sucked. But, next year, we have the senior season, and I'm pretty sure, they're having a meeting soon about it. And that sadly might get taken away. I hope not.
I don't think it will.
Hmm?
I don't think it will.
I hope not.
Yeah,
I'm I love my football team. We got a coaching change last year, and we really saw our team improve this year. And just everyone's mental game. He really put in the mental game for us. Prophesizing winning. Enjoying a win, but not winning a couple of games and getting this big head on your shoulders like you're the best.
Yeah.
We ended up coming out. We have lost to this team last year by more than 35. We got beat by, and they ended up coming to us. We played on our field our first game of the season and won. So that was a big boost for us. Where we were like, all right, we got a new coach, new team. We ended up getting a new schedule because of like the seeding of the districts. We ended up switching a conference and drew a different schedule. This schedule is favoring us. We're looking good for this, season. We didn't really lose that many seniors. We lost a quarterback and a running back / halfback. They were good. A couple, core receivers and a kicker that were all good. But other than that, I mean, wrestling wise, we lost our stud of our team, our 120-pounder Joe Rowley, 4-time district runner-up, 4-time regional qualifier,
Full-time district runner-up.
4-time district runner-up.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, he was a state qualifier. He's again one of my best friends from my team. Great kid. He's going to Pitt. I don't think he's wrestling at Pitt, but
yeah,
great for him. He also runs cross country and does track as well. No, not track, baseball, plays baseball. And he's another tri-sport athlete. Just an all-around athlete in general. And he was also somebody that he always pushed me. Always, he was always somebody. He was there to talk to me. When I'm cutting weight, and he's making sure I'm doing all right and everything. And he's one he's gonna be on me. I'm floating around at practice, and he's gonna snap and be like, hey, it's time to click it on. And he was honestly probably the better leaders we had on our team.
It's rare to see lightweights be like that. It's like most guys be like, oh, you're just fat, just like it's like
yeah. Yeah, no, he was never like that. We had a couple kids that are like that, like, hey, joking around, busting me, or I'm sure you went through it before too. Everyone really likes to bust on the heavyweight.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. But I was lucky enough we got that heavyweight coach, and that really just changed my my wrestling in general.
Yeah, I kind of got the same thing too. Junior year,
yeah,
we had a coach who was an alumni. He was one of we don't have that many state placers. He placed 5th in the state, I think, in 2000. He wrestled for Rutgers. He fought in the UFC a little bit.
Yeah.
At 170, he wrestled in college, I think, at 174. He came back at the UFC at 205 and 245. He was 216, absolutely shredded. He just beats the living crap out of me every day.
Yeah, and then I I also started training at this place called Dream Athletics. He's had tons of Division I talent go through him. He has one or two people in the NFL that now once they made that newspaper article about me, he reached out to me and was like, hey, I could help you out just to get stronger. And my friend Justin Kopko, he plays football at Penn State University, and he was also somebody that went there, another one of his Division I athletes, and he kind of showed me as well. That was like, hey, this guy's legit. He turned his body from, I think he was 305, and then he cut him down to I think almost 280 of he was just tough, just all muscle, tough. He went from someone who he was a little chunky to somebody who he looked like he was ready to go play Division I football. And he has a great rap. So I was working with him before I got injured. Just a ton of we were working with just the motion of the snap and the shoulders. Just a lot of shoulder work, a lot of leg. Legs. You have to have strong legs for wrestling. You can't.
Do you know who Justin Shorter is?
No.
Nah, he's at Penn State. He was at Penn State. He just transferred. He was a 5-star wide receiver. He went to our high school, actually. Yeah. That's honestly the only reason. I was going to quit after junior year. It's I thought it would just be a great experience to be on a team with him. I thought maybe there was a chance I could start as a sophomore. There wasn't. It happens, but
yeah,
I just wasn't that.
I started playing my sophomore season. I never played football my entire life. I was never a football kid. In mini football, I was too heavy because there was a weight limit apparently to play football.
Yeah.
I was too big. Never played. Didn't play 7th, 8th, 9th grade. Wasn't into it. And then my sophomore year, the coach worked at the school, and I was sitting at lunch, and he comes up to me, "Hey, come play football. You're a big kid. we need to just, fill out this line. And I was like, all right, sure, I'll come play. Went to a practice or two. My mom was not the biggest fan of it. She never had to deal with the football. She was always about the wrestling. And she was like, with football, she was worried about the first, couple, 2-3 games I played. I was that kid that got put in like the last 6 minutes of the game or like the fourth quarter. I got put in, I'd go play. Or when someone got hurt, I'd go in and play. I was like that this year, but I saw like a little bit more playing time.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have as much, that line my sophomore year we had, Justin, who went to Penn State, he's just a bear. He's a huge kid, just a powerhouse. We had this kid named Matt Beecham. He was also a powerhouse on the line. And, we had, 2 kids that were seniors this year. One of them's going to Misericordia to play football, and the other one's going to Albright to play football. He's a center. They were also just absolute big kids. And they're strong kids, practicing with them, even football. Football always, it always, kept me strength-wise good and conditioning-wise good for wrestling too.
Yeah.
And then spring, I was that's where I would catch myself lacking a little bit and like eating more and kind of just relaxing, because that'd be like my off season. It'd be like right after wrestling and not quite football yet. So, that's when I catch myself gaining weight. So I was either figured out I'm going to play volleyball. That would keep me loose. It'd keep me stretched. It'd help with my hand-eye coordination. And, I had no problems playing it, like ankle-wise, leg-wise. After I broke my leg, it was iffy if I should play. And, I was cleared by then. And I tried it, and I did well. And, it definitely kept me in shape. Obviously, it didn't help because I still got big. But I pretty much get big during football season, I figured out, I feel like everybody does,
It's just about controlling it, just like as much as you
that's
can.
definitely something I have to work on, especially I'm deciding I'm probably going to end up wrestling in college. East Stroudsburg's where I want to go. I talked to their coach quite a bit.
That's in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah, Pennsylvania. Yeah, we actually end up wrestling Shippensburg,
Yeah,
right? That's
we
what
do.
you're committed to go to. So that would be
In
crazy.
regular schedule or like in the
Yeah,
conference?
regular season schedule.
Do you know if we wrestle like any D1 teams?
Um,
I
I
think
don't
we
think.
might actually wrestle Penn State eventually.
Yeah, I think in the open, maybe a tournament. There's a
Yeah.
tournament.
Seth Neville's can get the smoke,
Call it out, Seth Neville's. All right.
No,
Send
I've
us
said it
back.
before.
Who's that kid that was in your Instagram live that wants to wrestle you?
Oh, Lucas, he's committed to Cal Poly. He runs the pinning season.
Yeah,
Yeah. We just started fake beef just because.
that'd be funny. Like a meme page,
Yeah, no, it's not even close. He would smack me. He was nationally ranked at a point.
Yeah, didn't he get 4th in the state this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
He
big
said I
kid.
took down Josiah Hill 4 times. I'm like, you still lost the match. How do you feel? He was just like, he just kept making fat jokes. I was just like, damn.
He's
He's
a
mad
big.
because I'm spitting facts, though.
Yeah. Yeah, at one point I heard you say, I'm going to hit you with a sprawl of death. I was like, that's my boy, the sprawl of death.
But, no, I mean, that normally doesn't help on gay kids, but,
Yeah, no. My first varsity match, I tried to hit the sprawl of death on a kid that had he had a deep single in on me. And I, fell forward, and he used that momentum of me going forward to just lift me up and just.
But, a lot of the stuff I say is, just for meme purposes.
Yeah,
I've taken shots. I prefer upper body.
Yeah, I don't shoot.
Just because. Yeah, but, it's just because. It's not like you can't. It's just I don't want to.
Yeah, I do a lot of the throw-bys, the Russians, the the trips, if I have to get down there and hit a knee pick or an ankle pick, I do it.
Ankle pick. I be hitting ankle picks under 220 all the time. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, I can hit that stuff during practice and stuff. I'll hit a slick ankle pick, or you gotta pick a kid up by his knee and then grab the arm and take him over. But in a match,
that's not even a real move. That's just stuff people make up.
Because I don't want to get stuck under somebody. That's the worst.
It's I realize I have to have better defense. So literally all I work on with these college guys is they would get a shot and I would have to come around, cut the corner and all that.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest feel. But it's exactly what you're gonna do. But you realize that in a match you take a shot, you know how to finish, that maybe you're supposed to head wheel, maybe you're supposed to pull your foot out to the outside and drive it. But that what people want to tell you is you take a shot. What's the worst that happens? You get taken down.
Yeah.
The worst that happens is you mess up just a little bit, get swatted right to your back, and get pinned by a
Yeah.
kid who's a scrub. Like,
Yeah, I think that's the most embarrassed I think like you could get is like you're wrestling a kid that you know is not better than you, and
take
like
a
it's
shot
at
just
your home
because
dual
wanting
meet.
to take a shot.
Yeah, and it's like it's at your home dual meet. There's all these your friends from high school are there, and that's where I was at that senior night match. I'm like, all right, there's news people here. There's all these people here. All like we had like a student section full of people. The cheerleaders were there. I'm like, all right, I can't lose this. I'm gonna be 11-0. Everyone's expecting me to just get pounded the rest of this match, and then I pinned the kid, and everyone was like incredibly surprised, and I think that's where, it's almost like the heart comes out at that point. You're
Yeah,
down like that, and it's like you either got sink or swim here. Like my coach came up to me like right before I went out to wrestle the third period. He's like, "Hey, it's sink or swim here. It's either you lose or you win." And he's like, "You got to pin him." He's like, "You're not scoring 12 points in one period."
yeah,
I mean, he's like, if you take him down and get him on his back, pin him. Because, he's like, it's an exhibition. It doesn't matter if you lose. He's like, they just go out there and like, it's almost
yeah,
like a pride thing for me. And it was crazy. I cried after that match. That was the first match I wrestled in, 3 years. That was the first match I wrestled since I was in 8th grade. So it was just like an overwhelming, my parents were there. My parents like watching me wrestle for the first time in 3 years, they were super emotional. I was super emotional. It was just an emotional moment for everyone. My coach was super emotional because he like everyone knew how hard I worked. Like I'd be like we have morning practice at 5 a.m. every day. So I'd be at that practice every day. My sophomore year, just grinding, cutting weight. And I'd go home at night and I'd eat like a piece of chicken like yay big and like half a glass of water, and then I'd be upstairs running on the treadmill for like 3 hours a night. And the numbers were coming down, and then like I'd have a bad practice, and I'd come home and I'd eat like shit, and I'd be just as heavy as I was the day before.
yeah.
And I'd punch myself in the face like, oh my God, why the hell are you doing this to yourself?
The crazy thing with me is, I was 315 coming out of football. I got down to around what was it, 290. I was 290 the week before our first match. Made 283. The thing is, like, I never had a problem with like making weight after that.
Yeah.
It was like I was eating like whatever the hell I want whenever I want to. It
Yeah,
was just
I
before
didn't have that problem
matches.
either. After I made that weight that first time, after that it was easy for me to
Yeah,
just retain the weight. For
it
me,
was
it's
like
breaking the weight. I could retain the weight and keep the weight. I wasn't cutting at all. I
yeah,
would just go through a practice. I'd weigh out of practice like 283, 282.
yeah,
I think the lowest I got during my sophomore year was like right at the end of the season. I was like 278 or something like that. I was light. Then we had a chicken weight eating contest at the end of the year banquet, and I was back up to 284. I won. Don't worry.
yeah. So what happened to me is the lowest I ever weighed in that was 279.9. I told my coach I broke 280. I also said never again.
Yeah.
I never weighed under 280 after that. It was interesting, to say the least.
I mean, part of me wishes they had a heavyweight class, 285 keep, and because I feel like it's almost like it's an unfair and a fair gap. It's a fair gap, the gap from 220 to 285. I feel there should be a 245, a 255, some kind of weight in the middle there for those guys that are weighing 235. And then,
Cut.
some of them are undersized guys. They're 235, 5'4", like 5'5", 235.
I mean, if you're 5'5", 235, you got to make the cut. Like,
Yeah,
there's no way around it.
yeah. It's like,
I just think there should be like maybe putting like make it like 270, make like 270 plus or some shit.
yeah,
Because you have a lot of guys who play football. Like, we're just gonna say like the kids, like you have D1 recruits that are 300 pounds. They're not gonna cut that 30 pounds that they worked so hard to put on.
yeah. And
And then you also
some of
have
those
kids.
it's muscle.
Yeah,
Some of those kids, it's muscle, and it's tough to like break down that muscle like that and
Yeah.
lose that weight.
Again, Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah,
The guy was cutting a good amount of weight to make weight in high school. He said, "I'm grateful. I won a state title. Wrestling helped me a lot, but like, I don't.
didn't he
That
say
might
like
have been
go
beneficial."
back he wouldn't do it or whatever? He's like,
He
if I
never said he wouldn't do it. Like, I think he would still do it. Win the state title is amazing.
oh
It's a
yeah,
great feeling to have. But I don't think the weight limit should be like that. Like,
Yeah. My goal for this up and coming season is make it. I want to be in the Giant Center in Hershey, Pennsylvania. I just want to be there. I don't care if I go 2 and out. I don't care. I want to be at that tournament just to tell myself, and like almost like for me, like all the work I put in all these years, all the injuries I've overcome, and I still stuck with the team. I still stuck with the boys. I still was there for them when they needed me to be there. And like I just wanted, just to say I'm a state qualifier. I feel like that would just be the cherry on the top. I'm definitely set up for a very, very good season this year. As I know right now, we don't really have any up-and-coming stud freshmen in our district, at least, heavyweight-wise. There's a couple kids that, they might give me, a close match, but I really think I could probably be one of the most dominant heavyweights in my area this year, which I'm excited for. I just know I got to get in that wrestling mindset sooner than later, and I just got to get the work in now and, start dropping the weight and, start getting there. And, if I could be 285 on day one of practice, then it would be a whole nother ball game for me.
The way to go about it, honestly, is just like you're 317 now.
Yeah.
Try your best to get down to 300 and then just go from there.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Like I always say, like after quarantine, once like my personal trainer reopens back up, we're going to start on this like a shred. Just he's going to give me a diet plan and a shred, and I'm just going to try to shred as much fat as I can just to work. Just to work it to be the point where I'm feeling good. I'm well conditioned. I could wrestle 6 minutes straight, but as well as, staying loose, staying stretched, making sure my, everything's healed correctly. I'm probably going to need to wear some kind of brace on my ankle. It still gives me problems to this day, and, it sucks, and, injuries suck, but they happen, and you got to have, my whole thing about like what the whole newspaper article about was me persevering. And I'm a huge person on that. I ended that article with, hey, I push through because I know there's people in worse situations than I am. I would go, when I was cutting weight, I would go out online at night and watch episodes of My 600-Pound Life. And I look at myself and be like, I don't want to be like that. That's why I'm working out. That's why I'm cutting weight, because I don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
I don't want
to check out. You know who David Goggins is?
Yeah, I've watched some of his stuff before too. Yeah, I was like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to get to a point where I'm 500 pounds. I don't want to get to a point where I can't step on a scale and see the weight I am. Like that was like the point where I watched like stuff like that, and that would push me even harder. Yeah. I'd watch that kind of stuff, and I'd hit the treadmill hard for 2 hours straight, just working my ass off. And like that's the part of me like that. I think I'm not the best wrestler. I will tell you that right now. I will get beat by people that are way better than me. I'm not the best. But what I always tell the college coaches is I'm somebody that's going to be there. You need somebody to wrestle a match, I will wrestle a match. You need somebody to cut weight, move weight, just get a team together. And, that's where I feel like I definitely come in. I talk a lot about with these coaches the family aspect, where I'm looking for a school. And I'm pretty sure I found it with ESU, which is the family aspect. This coach is very family oriented. We talk on the phone quite a bit. They're at right now. They're building their women's team up huge. They signed a bunch of girls because Division II now has the affiliated women's. No D1 yet, which you see a lot of these talented girls sign into these Division II schools now. And
they're probably going to transfer because I see that D1 thing coming into play pretty soon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I see. Once they see all these girls that are winning regular men's state championships and stuff.
It's honestly just funding at that point.
Yeah. I don't think they'd have a problem getting the funding. I mean,
yeah, because that's like why the whole SEC cut wrestling too.
Yeah, which I think that's so pointless. There are some SEC wrestlers, like I said, my brother Michael Konetsky, he coaches at Texas A&M University, the club wrestling team.
Yeah. And
he has a kid right now. His name's Tyree Carter, national champ.
Yeah, but that's not the problem, right? Think about you ever see Fanco Wrestling?
Yeah.
Yeah. He talked about this a little bit, like why the SEC got rid of wrestling, if you ever seen that video. Nah. If you look at it, you see, like, think about teams like Alabama, Clemson, Texas A&M. Missouri's like the one SEC school that has wrestling. They're in a different conference, though.
Yeah, Texas Tech, yeah.
Yeah, think about that. Think about how great their football teams are. Think about how much money, how much fun you like Nick Saban gets for that football team to bring
Man,
in like double digit 5-star recruits every single year and have them convert too. Think
yeah,
about how much money he spends on them, get them treatment, get them everything. Not even equipment. It's all just like physical treatment. They get them nutritious for each person. Like it's crazy the way they go about it.
yeah. But it's like it's almost like my brother works so hard at that school, so hard, and it's like it's almost like Texas A&M has so much money, and he's working these kids. He has national champs. It's like it's not at the point
Yeah,
where they don't have talent.
yeah,
Like they
of
don't have
course.
enough talent to like compete at that level because they do. This kid is a stud. This Tyree Carter, stud kid. You know, I see him competing with some of these guys in the Division One national level, and it's just like it's the point. It's like it's almost coming to the point where like for him, it's like he loves the sport of wrestling.
Yeah, it's
He
like
wrestles,
honestly, you have to transfer at that point. Like, there's really no
yeah,
way around it.
but that's the thing is he loves. He loves the coaching staff.
Yeah,
My brother he's super family oriented with the team as well. Where he has girls that are great down there too.
yeah,
And it's like he loves the team, he loves the school. That's why he hasn't transferred yet.
yeah.
I think he's a national runner up at it's like the NCWA, which is like the National Wrestling.
Natural Wrestling Coaches Association.
Yeah, they have like that tournament for the club teams, and he won that. He won that tournament this year, and then last year as a runner up.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, honestly, like, why not just stay with it? If you love the coaches, they're giving you
Yeah,
everything you need to
yeah, that's what he's doing.
stay with
He's
that. Hop into the freestyle circuit after you
yeah,
graduate and see what happens there.
yeah,
But
and
I just don't think that's going to be the right thing to do because, like, why not transfer? Like, if you're that good, transfer to an actual D1 school.
yeah,
Get with other D1 caliber wrestlers to wrestle with.
yeah,
Get a lot better training. Maybe that way, maybe the coaches aren't as good, but like you have
yeah.
better guys to train with, a better environment because like D1 competitiveness. If you go
Oh
to a
yeah,
club team
those
at the end,
wrestling rooms are uncomparable.
yeah.
You can't compare a Penn State wrestling room to a Division two school's wrestling room. You
As
can't.
far as I've seen Penn State, like it's not even like a hard working environment. It's basically just like it's chill. It's like
Yeah, the way Kale runs practices, like I said, they start with that dodgeball, and then
yeah,
he'll pick a move. Like he'll say, "All right, we're doing single leg defense for the one guy, single leg for the other guy." He'll say, "Go play with it." That's it. You go do that. You just go play
yeah.
with it. You just
Because
practice.
every guy has their own variation.
Mhm.
Like my coach this year, when I was, is like he would try to force stuff on us. He'd be like, "Oh, we're gonna be a team that we're gonna keep attacking on offense. We'll be able to drive all 7 minutes, and we're gonna have nasty cradles on top." Like that's not the right way to go about it.
Yeah,
Like I get the whole attacking. Like you got to be able to go 6 minutes, right? As a heavyweight, you got to be prepared to go. What was it, like 8.5 minutes?
yeah, that's what
If
those
you
are.
go to Ultimate Rider, yeah. The thing is, for me this season, what I told myself is like, I never want to leave the first period scoreless
Yeah.
unless I knew what I was doing. Because there was
Yeah,
a kid
unless
I
you have
wrestled
like
this
a plan
year.
in your head
Yeah,
where you see a move coming up and you couldn't hit it in the first period.
yeah. It's not even that. It's like I know, like, there was one kid I beat 9-5 the first time we wrestled. I almost pulled one of the biggest chokes of my life. I should have pinned that kid in the first period, and I knew that. But then I looked at a little. I was keeping up with this kid's stats, like seeing how he's doing, and he held that Rutgers commit that I almost pinned, right? But I ended up getting pinned by. He held him to a 5-4 decision,
Yeah.
which was
That's
like, okay, this kid's a first year varsity wrestler. He almost lost our JV kid the year before. So I'm looking at some of these things. I'm like, okay, what do I remember from the match? Because like I'm not consciously thinking at that point. I know that he was gassed about a minute left in the third period, and I was bullying him. I pushed him out of bounds, got 4 stall calls on him, was one away from a DQ, and I won 9-5. Coming down, like I was down 4-2. So I'm like, okay, there's two options here. I can either push the pace and like maybe he doesn't get tired because he's been. I was told he was working on his conditioning because it'll look better like through every single match I've seen him wrestling. So I'm like, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shut down the pace, go the complete opposite way. I know I can get out from bottom. He's weird. He's weird on bottom, so I can't hold him down. Like he's like one of those heavyweights who like actually gets a wrist control, and, like pushes back into you. It's weird. It's like unless you have like insane upper body strength and then run bars like that, you can't pin him. So I knew I get a takedown in the third period. I win the match,
yeah.
and that's how I won it. twice, like in the county tournament. Like after I choked in that wrestleback semifinal, I had to wrestle him again. I won 3-2 both times with the takedown with about 30 seconds left in the third period.
Yeah.
It was interesting because like I knew how exactly it was going to play out. Because at heavyweight, just in general, for me, in my mind, there's two ways to wrestle a perfect match. One is a first period pin where you take him down, you run whatever you want, pin him. The second is a 5-0 match. You get a takedown and a ride out in the first period. Whoever gets bottom, if he picks bottom, you ride him out. It's still 2-0. You pick bottom, you get out, you take him down and ride him out. It's 5-0. College 6-0.
Yeah.
Like that's a dominant match.
Yeah, you just dominated him. You
Yeah.
didn't let him score.
Yeah. Because sometimes you're on top to ride and sometimes you're on top to pin. It's like being able to distinguish like the differences between those two.
Yeah. There's definitely
We're at an hour 30 right now.
my area, there's some heavyweights that are, you got your big boys, you got your boys that are cutting weight, you got your boys that are undersized, then you got your boys that are just sitting at that like 250 level that, they're benching and they're, doing this and they're muscle, but they have no technique. And, I feel like that's where like it comes into play. It's like with you, I don't know like how you feel about it. Are you more of a strength or a technique? What do you think matters more? Or do you think they go hand in hand?
I'm going to say once you get to like the high level of wrestling and both guys are strong, it's always going to be it's not even a game of technique, it's a game of angles.
Yeah.
Because like if I'm grabbing your leg from right in front of you and you sprawl, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
If I can grab your leg, hit that pivot step to the outside and hit the foot prop on the leg, you're not defending that.
Yeah.
Unless you're hitting the splits on me.
Yeah.
Even then, like, what people don't realize, if somebody goes split on you, literally all you have to do is take your hand, just whack them.
Yeah.
Because there are heavyweights that are good enough to hit the splits. I've not seen a heavyweight, except for maybe Matt Stencil, that's good enough to stop you and then not get whacked sideways, do the splits. So, just like interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, I agree with that. Where it's like once you get to like the higher level, like of the state tournament, where all those guys are just as strong as you.
Not even the state tournament, like honestly. Like in Jersey, we have like, Jimmy Mullen is?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like our only like national. I mean, like I'm talking about like nationally ranked tournaments. Like if you're like maybe like the Fargo finals or something like that.
Yeah.
Because you see guys like what's his name? You've seen Gable. Gable didn't use technique for shit in high school. The one guy he used it on was Kirk, and that was like the matchup of the year. When Kirk really bumped up to wrestling.
His finals of like the state tournament his senior year.
Yeah, he pinned him 18 seconds.
Then did a backflip. I don't think I've ever seen a heavyweight do a backflip before until then.
Do you know what's crazy? Is like I've seen a bunch of them.
Really?
Yeah. It's like you have to realize like any guy at that level is an elite athlete. Like a heavyweight's just a big athlete.
Yeah.
If you see an NFL running back do a backflip, that's basically the same thing as a college heavyweight doing a backflip. Which is what people don't really understand. Like some of these guys in the NFL are like 250 doing backflips. Like what's the difference between like a heavyweight that's 250 doing it? Like it's impressive.
Yeah, I get
like,
you.
That's
yeah.
The thing, yeah. But what's his name?
Yeah, it's just impressive because
it's
a heavyweight.
Yeah. It's just people gas a lot of things up to be more than it actually is. A heavyweight takes a shot. Like, oh, you saw the heavyweight take a shot? It's like, just like from your perspective, it's like not all that crazy.
Heavyweights weigh 230 pounds. Yeah, that's what people don't take into account. Some heavyweights weigh 230 pounds, 228 pounds. They're just not willing to cut down to 220.
Yeah.
And they're wrestling 285.
It's like if you're a heavyweight and you're complaining about having to wrestle people bigger than you, it's like, man, but make the cut. Like don't complain about it. Like, you willing to put yourself in this weight class. Like there was a kid in New Jersey. He wrestled. He's playing football for Seton Hill. He was about 250 during football. I was on a college visit with him, and the only reason I even recognize his name is I wrestled this 220, and I was keep in mind this was junior year. I was about 270. This 220 towered over me. It was basically He was winning 1-0 second period. He got out, and then it's like a blast single on me and just sticks me.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking, I'm like, this kid, and I'm like, okay, this kid's just very good because I saw him wrestle Pinar 220 the year before, and they just didn't want to put their heavyweight out there against me. The 220 is the best kid on their team, and I'm looking, he's 35-0 heading into districts, and then he loses in the district finals to this kid. This kid comes into this season at around 255, ends up making the cut to 220.
That's a cut.
Yeah, and the crazy part is he wasn't even fat at 255. It was looking like he was cutting straight muscle. The craziest part to me, this was the last quad of the year before districts.
Mm.
The weight class is 223, right?
Yeah.
He has to make. Never goes to check weight. Steps on the scale, 223.0. The worst part about this is, you know what that told me? He gave zero shits if he did not make weight.
He didn't
And the
care.
worst part of that is he ended up getting his 100th win that quad in the last match.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I always vibe for our 6-pounder. Our 6-pounders cutting weight. I'm like, that's gotta be tough.
Yeah. But they're normally not cutting that much. Unless you're one of the guys who's yeah. I mean, we're at an hour 35 right now.
All right.
You want to keep going or?
It's up to you. I think we pretty much covered everything. We talked pretty much about we talked about football, we talked about wrestling, we talked about college.
I mean, so what are your plans for the future? The senior season, heading to college?
Yeah, senior season, just definitely I want to be just one of the most dominant heavyweights in the area. I got a lot of work to do. And I think I'm going to shock some people coming back after an injury. I think everyone's going to be counting me out again, as I was, plenty of times. College, I would love to go to ESU. That's really where I have my heart set. Even if I don't, get formally accepted to wrestle, I think I will probably end up going there just to study marine biology, study that. And, if wrestling's not there, it's not there. I loved it. I've had so much fun with it. It's been with me my whole life. If I got to say goodbye to it now, I won't be super upset. Obviously it'll hurt a little bit, but I think as long as I have a really good year this year, I think I see myself there. And, I think it'll be a really good fit for me there. Just the area is great. My sister graduated from there last year. And, it's a great school. It's great education. So was Shippensburg. That was her second choice. The Shippensburg's also great education, great school.
The dorms are nice, dude.
Yeah, they are nice.
Yeah.
Very, very nice campus as well. Yeah. But just hey, going. Both of us going away to college. You got to remember my coach always tells us this is for high school. You're a student. You're a student athlete. You're not an athletic student. School's got to come first, especially in college. They don't care. You're replaceable in college. That's what my coach always says, that you're replaceable in college. You're on a scholarship. Someone comes around better than you and you're failing in class, you're gone. Pull your scholarship. You're gone. You're done. They don't need you around. They could get somebody else better than you to come fill your spot. And that's why in college you always got to make sure you're staying on top of everything. And you can't because once you get in that hole, it's hard to come out. And, I've learned that same thing with me losing weight. It's like once I get that big, it's tough to lose weight like that much weight. I've done it once, and I put my body through hell doing it. There's nights where I was struggling, and I pushed through, and I think obviously you're going to do some good things in college. I hope I blow it up this senior season and, really, just have a really great year. But, hey, we'll see. Maybe we'll get a matchup.
Yeah,
hopefully.
All right, so this is really going to be it for episode 3 of the Heavyweight Nation podcast. Thank you for joining us. Wish you the best of luck your senior season. I love to see how it goes, and make sure to follow him on Instagram. I'll put the link in the description or something like that. And thank you.
Yep. Thank you.